Somebody left a comment on one of our videos about how do we actually harness the sun's energy through meditation. So I want to address this here, and I also want to include something that I feel so passionate about. I mean, why wouldn't I? The sun is our most centralizing, organizing power. I want to share also about how the sun, solar intelligence, the different different electromagnetic charges of the sun, how the sun in itself as our central life giver is so central to our dharma, to our sense of purpose. Now, there's a lot of clues in the way that I described that. And so here you have the highlight of this video. If you want to learn more, then stick around. So first of all, I'm going to address this idea of the sun and us harnessing its power. Now, we are intrinsically, innately designed as human beings to absorb, to harness, to interface with, and to utilize the energy. You couldn't think of the word there. To integrate, that's it. Integrate the energy of the sun in various ways. And we have a very complex and very nuanced set of technologies here, which essentially enables us to take the light of the sun, to break it down, and to have it create this incredible being, sustain this incredible being, to have it nourish this incredible being, to build, to grow, evolve, and for our longevity. The sun's energy isn't also just for our physical structure, it also energizes and empowers our mental, our emotional bodies as well, our light bodies. And so the sun is not just important and, one of those fundamental things that we need. It is the most significant, the most important, the most centralizing and organizing power in our world. Without the sun, we would not be here. The electricity is the number one thing that we need before water, before food, before the breath. If there is no electricity which comes from the sun, there is no body. There is no way for matter to collapse into its density, and there's no vehicle for us, for consciousness to come and experience itself. And so encoded within all of that, within what I share in itself, is the wisdom and the knowledge of just how important the sun is, not just for us to harness and to utilize, but also for our dharma, our purpose. It is our raison d'être. It is very much what and who we are. It is the purpose for us being here. And also encoded with that is our dharma and our purpose, and I'm going to come back to that. So with regards to harnessing the energy of the sun, it can be done in many ways. Of course, it can be done through the breath. When we inhale, when we breathe that prana in, we are also breathing in the photons of the sun, okay, which is our closest star. So the photons that are being emitted every time the sun emits its solar flares, mass coronal ejections, that all travels here, and we are absorbing that in all of the ways. We also have the melanin in our skin. This is particularly designed for us to interface with the sun. So with like the chloroplasts, which are the cells of a leaf or of in a plant that is designed to absorb the sunlight and turn it into energy. That's also what the technology of our skin does, and that light gets absorbed in our system. We can also absorb light through our eyes, and there are many other ways that it can come into our system. Now, when we absorb the energy of the sun through our crown, which is also just naturally happening, right? Because we're here and the crown is here. what's happening is our whole endocrine system is switching on, you know, and really at the top of that, the master endocrine system, the hypothalamus, and then the pituitary, and this has a whole cascade down into the hormonal system in terms of hormones, and the hormones communicate with the different organs and cells in the body and tissues and so on, and give instructions on what to do. So this gives us a lot of clues. There's a really important mechanism going on here, and we teach, you know, we go in depth into this in our practitioner programs, but I'm just going to, you know, share some pretty, you know, big things and give you some big clues. There's a big important cascade of energy, information that is happening here. And so getting that sun, being exposed to that sun, it's not just about vitamin D, absorbing that, and the importance of vitamin D for up and down regulating so many of our cellular functions. But, you know, we're talking about the sunlight to nourish our endocrine system, our nervous system, and it enters our body, our light bodies, and nourishes our light bodies in so many different ways that we're not going to see in medical textbooks and even in a lot of holistic textbooks. Now, when our system is very blocked and clogged up, when our generators are not functioning optimally and our channels aren't so clear, and this strong energy comes in from the sun, particularly when there are coronal mass ejections and the sun's really emitting this high, strong energy that's hurling at the earth, it can be really destabilizing for us if our own system is already destabilized, because we're not able to integrate that energy and harness that energy very well. Integrating the sun's energy requires us to be clear and requires us to be pretty stable. You know, when we have a lot of dark matter, dark quanta, as we call it, occluding our light bodies, like pooled around our light bodies, our mental, emotional, and physical light body, and that's causing a misalignment and a fragmentation in our different systems. It's really hard for that incoming energy to just come in and just like really naturally, gently, beautifully just kind of integrate. It kind of feels like we're being fried some of the time. And this is the thing that Rupa and I get really concerned about, that if we're not really working with our energy system, and we certainly teach our students this, that energy is going to come in and it's going to feel very challenging and very difficult for the system. And so it's really important to do the work to stabilize your energy system and to keep yourselves really clear so that you can harness that energy. And it's kind of one of those things where, and this was a great analogy that our teacher Brooks gave us, when you walk into a room and you switch the light on, the system, the electrical system doesn't decide if it wants to switch on. It doesn't like have a mental moment and be like, do I really want to turn my light on? Do I really want the electricity to actually have to flow through these circuits? Should I block it here? Should I block it there? Should I allow the light to go? And it doesn't have a mental or emotional process on that. It just turns on. And our bodies are the same. It just functions. There are a lot of involuntary processes that don't require our consciousness to command it. Now, that's not to say that we cannot use our consciousness, our higher expression, to program this incredible piece of technology. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that our body is naturally designed to take in and to harness and to integrate this energy when it's in the right condition. So it's important and our radical responsibility to make sure that we are appropriately tending to our light bodies, that where we're depleted, we accumulate our energy, that we understand the nuanced science and way that it functions, the how to tend properly to the health and well-being of our mental, emotional, and physical light bodies, to this multidimensional technology. And a lot of this is about really redefining, placing electromagnetic health, structure, anatomy, physiology at the forefront, deprogramming that old way of looking at the biochemistry and so on. This requires a lot of work too. But just remember, harnessing the sun's energy is absolutely an essential part of what we are. And so we can do this through meditation. We absolutely can visualize the energy of the sun coming in through the crown chakra as we breathe, taking a deep breath in all the way down into the belly, expanding the belly out as we breathe in, visualizing that energy and that light coming all the way down into the system. And as we exhale, we can allow that energy to move out through our light body and all the way out into the further reaches of our light body. And we can just practice this, inhaling that energy down, just visualizing our connection to the sun, visualizing the sun, and visualizing as we inhale that we're drawing that energy down into our system. And as we exhale, moving it down further and pushing it out into our light body, and just allowing the energy of the sun to naturally nourish ourselves in this way. So we're just upregulating an already natural aspect of what we are. Now, the central role and importance of the sun and our connection to the sun in activating our dharma, our purpose, our sense of self, of our meaningful existence, of our appropriate lifestyle, however you define dharma to be, it is rooted in this sense of purpose. Purified, refined purpose, backed by a purified desire to be here and to experience life. And often we jumped way too forward and we're trying to find this really complex sense of what dharma is, when it's sometimes right here under our nose. It's just being and experiencing this phase of our life and what it has to offer us and what we can learn so that we can grow and evolve into the next octave. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Remember that as the sun is our central, most organizing power, its energy is fundamental for life here on planet. It includes all the codes of everything that we need to sustain life on the planet. It includes all of the information that we need to be nourished. Therefore, it contains everything that we need for us to remember what and who we truly are. It is also us, we are also it. And when and this body is dropped and it is no longer functioning in this way, it will return to the earth and it will become ash. And it will then form a part of the earth, and the sun will once more combine with it and nourish it and grow new life again. It is in this incredible love affair. We are in this incredible love affair with the earth. And so allow this connection to support you to cultivate your sense of purpose and power. I'm not here to tell you how, this is the trick thing with this video, I'm not here to tell you how the sun is going to activate your dharma, just to tell you that it does, and that it is incredibly important for our journeying, for our evolution. And for those of you wanting to explore your dharma, to find your purpose, then join us in activating your connection and alignment to the sun, to Surya, and allow the sun to hold you, to guide you, to show you. This is why the sun is so important. It's not just switching on our intelligent faculties and this incredible technology. It's also here to energize us and remind us of really who we are and what we're here to do. And that's simply it. And so you'll find your own way. I hope you found this nourishing. It's been a joy to share this. There's always more, and we appreciate you asking, calling us forward to share wisdom and knowledge and anything that we can to support you on your journey of evolution. Please leave a comment here. We would love to know how this landed with you.